All right, we'll go ahead and get started for the Thursday, May 20th, 2021 Plat Committee meeting. We have a couple of subdivisions requiring public hearing, major subdivisions. First on the list, we have Portage Woods, Section 3. Staff report?
Yeah, this is Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. This major primary subdivision is located on the east side of Portage Road, immediately north of Adams Road, east of Portage Woods Section 1, and north of Sandy Hill Estates. It'll consist of 6 building lots. The total area is 28 acres. Check of the agency's maps indicate that there are no environmental hazards or wetlands present. The rights-of-way are correct as shown. It'll be served by private well and private septic. The county surveyor recommends approval. The county engineer recommends approval subject to some revisions I'll mention in a moment. The county health department recommends approval, but based on the submitted information and soil reports on file, Lot 45A may be restricted to 3 bedrooms/bedroom equivalents. Supplemental information will be considered in making this determination if provided. The subdivision went through tech review on April 15th, 2021. Staff recommends that the subdivision be granted primary approval subject to the following: a note stating that when Adams Road is constructed in the future, it is the lot owner's responsibility to relocate their access per St. Joseph County requirements. A note stating that the temporary turnaround shall be constructed per county standards, and access to the retention easement on Lot 4.
Okay, thank you, Sean. At this moment, given we're having a public hearing for this, is there anyone that would like to speak in favor of this subdivision? Please state your name and address, please.
My name is Terry Lang from Lang, Feeney and Associates. This is the completion of the project. We're looking to make lots 45 and 44 a tad bit larger. The area designated on the plat there is shown as Outlot A. We're looking to keep that as an option for a purchase by either lot 43 or by expanding it to 44A. At this point, we have no problems with any of the requests that the county health department and also that the county engineering office have, and we'll comply with those.
Thank you, Terry. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor of this subdivision? Seeing none, is there anyone wishing to speak in remonstrance of the subdivision? Please state your name and address, please. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mike Daigle, 50870 Summit Ridge Trail. Portage Woods 3 is in our backyard. A couple questions first and foremost. The original lots, because now it appears it's 6 lots going into Portage Woods Phase 3, but the 2 lots are already in Portage Woods Phase 1. Are they being removed from Portage Woods Phase 1 and moving to Portage Woods Phase 3?
Technically, they are going to be part of the new Portage Woods Section 3, and they are being redesigned, as Terry mentioned. 44 and 45 of that former section are being made larger. They're taking a portion of what was originally designated as the original Portage Woods Section 3, but it is all a new primary subdivision. So, in essence, yes, they are part of a new subdivision.
So immediately to the southwest, where the new road connects, is that being abandoned as a buildable lot?
That's correct. It is being designated as an outlot, which is a non-buildable lot.
Okay. You mentioned something I had not seen or read before about a restriction on, is it lot 45A?
That's correct.
That's a health department comment, isn't it, Sean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you repeat that for me, please?
That's a health department's comment. Brad, do you want to?
Yeah, based on soil reports we have on file from when Portage Woods Section 1 was platted, there is a layer of clay on section or on lot 45A, and with the drainage easement and drainage tile that cuts through it, it restricts the amount of available space for a house and primary and reserve septic system there. So it may be restricted to 3 bedrooms just based on not being able to fit the required septic on that lot.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Next, please state your name and address. Thank you.
Joe Spybrook. I live at 22154 Alpine Ridge Court. I'm in Portage Woods Subdivision 2. We purchased this a few years back through working with Abermarsh and then the county engineer. My question is on lot 4, you talked about an easement. Is that road going to go through and make a cul-de-sac at the end?
It's going to be a temporary turnaround until such time as Adams Road is actually improved.
Correct.
So you still can go down there, drive down at the end?
When you say the end, what do you mean?
The cul-de-sac where it's supposed to be. You know, it's something like, what,
It's
800 feet?
they can go down and turn around. It's a
Yeah.
temporary turnaround. So if you could drive down back into the, or it has to be built per county standards. Go in, they can then back in and then turn around if need be.
Yeah, I've got it on my plat.
Okay, I don't know what you're talking about then.
Right.
There's a turnaround right here, and there's a turnaround right here.
No, if you go to lot 4, no, go to lot 4, way in the top. Okay? Where it goes for Gallisay on the very top, and it goes along that line all the way to your left. Oh, let me show you.
It would just be up to this,
Yeah, it's just to that point.
just to this point, this road up to this point, and then no farther.
But there will have to be, no further, but there will have to be an easement provided for drainage. Well, on the one I have, it doesn't. So that's why we asked them to add it.
I'll show it to you.
I believe you. You don't have to show it to me. But
Okay.
on mine, the one that we are currently looking at right now, this meeting is the one that's up on the screen.
Okay, but it's on yours?
This is the one that we have currently up for approval.
Okay.
And the approval of this is going to be subject to adding an easement to allow access to the drainage retention easement that's shown on the plat.
Okay,
I noticed it wasn't on mine, so that's why I requested that it be put on there.
all right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
My name's Eric Robleski. I live at 22019 Sandy Hill Lane. My question is this subdivision going to connect to Sandy Hill Lane through the short street that's already there?
Right now, it's showing that if in the future, if Sandy Hill's the one to the south, right, Lane? Am I right, Sean?
Yes, so it will connect potentially in the future through the Birch Drive.
It's going to what?
So if this is ever improved, Adams Road, it'll also have to improve Birch Drive. It will connect right here to Sandy Hill Lane.
So this is where I'm talking about right here. So is this street going to have to be widened? Because supposedly neighbor across the street called and said they're going to take 15 feet of each property.
We would have to look at that in the future if that road was ever extended. There have been times where we've done it both ways in subdivisions. It depends on what we think the traffic may be. There's been times where we haven't widened it.
All right, so
That-
you're
sometimes
saying
we have.
in the future it's probably going to happen, but it's not happening right now?
It's not happening now, and it would only happen if Adams Road was extended through that right-of-way, which we currently do not have funding for.
Oh, you're talking about running Adams Road right through there?
Yeah, that's what, if you, we can definitely get you a copy once it's,
So this would
But that's if that was ever, that's just right-of-way that's being dedicated to the county, with hopes of being able to do that in the future. We currently don't have any funding for that or anything at this moment. Yeah.
So where can I get a copy of this? I mean, is it available online or?
It is.
The packet's online.
Also, if you want to provide me with your email.
Yeah, if you want to provide Sean with your email or whatever, he can email you
Oh, okay.
the packet, yeah.
Great.
I want to suggest that Birch Road already has a dedicated width right now, which is what, 30 feet? And if there were a road built, it would be within that confines. And we're.
I don't know that.
Okay, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, that's why I said we would make an assessment at the time that it was
Okay.
done.
Very good, thank you. I just want to make sure that was all clear for everyone. Thank you.
My only other question is when things like this are decided, will I get another notice in the mail if you're going to extend the street or something like, widen the street or extend the connection between the subdivisions?
Yeah, there would be some notices, yes, sir.
I'll get it in the mail?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we don't have, like I mentioned before, we don't have funding or any, it's not on our,
Right.
it's definitely not on our 5-year plan at the moment, so it would be out there a ways.
It's small case, but I kind of.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Teresa has a question.
Thank you.
Hi. Hi, my name is Teresa Uribe. I'm at 22234 Red Rock Way. So as I look at your plot plan here, actually, I'm where it says Forest Lake Trail. I'm just to the left of the outer lot A there. So my question was, I do have my own plot plan from Lang, Feeney and Associates. However, I can't tell with the building setbacks and drainage and utility where actually my lot falls and how much of that they might take for that. It looks like what's going to be a turnaround there. I didn't know if anybody could come out and take a look at this. I've got, a tree line there. I've got rocks. I've got a fence, sprinkler heads, and I'd certainly like to get all that out of the way if, any of that is in the way. I'm not sure. The builder built the lot, so I'm not sure if any of that's in the way of what's going to be eventually what looks like a turnaround.
That would all be on the current developer's property, and it would be deeded right-of-way. So if I'm saying this correctly,
Yeah,
they
it
should not be on your property at
Have
all.
any impact on your property?
Well, how do I know if, there's no road there now, and it looks like you're going to build a turnaround there?
Yeah, but none of that should be on your property. That is all being deeded over and done on the developer's property.
Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is, should I have made the assumption that the builder did the right thing and, marked everything off and he is well within my territory and any of those easements aren't going to be taken?
That's your prerogative. You could hire a surveyor to come out and stake your lot lines to double check, but that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in remonstrance? Seeing none, I don't see any waivers for this. There are none,
No.
okay. Seeing none, is there a motion for this primary approval for the Portage Woods Section 3 subdivision?
I'll motion to approve.
We have a motion, do we have?
Subject to,
Randy James.
Yeah, so can you, so we'll make sure that's a motion subject to addressing the comments in the staff report, Randy? Is that,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We're going to take a roll call for this. subdivision. So Sam will call out your name, and if you will tell whether you're voting aye or nay, that would be great. Sam?
Mr. Sharon,
With the comments, with it as it's stated, yes.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. All right, so the ayes have it there. So primary approval, subject to the comments in the staff report, is granted for Portage Woods Section 3 subdivision. Next on the agenda, we have item B, a public hearing for the Woodford Trails at Knollwood subdivision. Staff report?
This is Sean Klein, Area Plan Commission staff. This major primary subdivision is located on the west side of Clover Road at the Indiana-Michigan state line. It'll consist of 112 building lots. The total area is 85.6 acres. There are no environmental hazard areas or wetlands present. The rights-of-way are correct as shown. It'll be served by a private well and private septic. The county surveyor recommended approval subject to a second access to the retention basin behind lots 38 to 58. This has since been provided between lots 38 and 39. The county engineer continues to verify that there is sufficient right-of-way for an XL-decel lane, but otherwise recommends approval subject to drainage plan approval. And the county health department recommends approval, but notes that the agricultural wells on the property must be abandoned prior to development. It went through technical review on April 15th, 2021. The professional land surveyor, on behalf of the applicant, requests the following waiver from section 153-105C2 to not continue the adjacent Jamie Drive Stub Street into the subdivision. Staff supports this waiver as Jamie Drive would enter the subdivision at an unfavorable angle, and there is already secondary access to the subdivision from the west via Ryan Drive. If the waiver is granted and the county engineer recommends approval, staff recommends that the subdivision be granted primary approval subject to drainage plan approval.
Thank you, Sean. At this moment, we'll open it up for the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of this subdivision?
Morning, Sky. Rob Nichols with Avon Consultants, 315 West Jefferson. I did want to just address a couple things. There aren't any wells on that site. There's just a couple pivot points. So that was abandoned on the parent parcel, and there is room for that XL-decel lane. So this is the kind of last piece of ground along the state line there with the 112 lots. So also joining us is David Eckridge with Fur Road Holdings, the developer. So we'd be happy to answer any questions that may come up as well.
Thank you, Rob. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor of the subdivision? Seeing none, is there anyone that would like to speak in remonstrance of the subdivision? Going once. Okay, seeing none. Is there a motion to accept the subdivision
There's
subject
a
to?
waiver.
What's that?
There's a waiver.
Oh, yes. We'll do the waivers first. Is there a motion to approve waivers for the subdivision?
Motion to accept waivers?
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll take a roll call on that. Waivers, Sam?
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Sharon,
Aye.
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. Okay, with the waivers approved, we'll go on to see if there's a motion to accept the primary approval for Woodford Trails at Knollwood subdivision, subject to the items noted in the staff report. Do I have a motion?
A motion to accept
I have
pending
a-
waiver.
Thank you. I have a
Second.
motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Sam will now take roll call, please.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Sharon,
Aye.
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. Okay, so with that, subdivision is approved for primary approval, subject to. Next item on the agenda, we have, minor plats, Kretschmer County Line Road. Do we have a motion for approval of the waivers?
I'll motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, with a motion and a second, we'll now go to roll call.
Mr. Sharon,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. Okay. Next on the agenda, we have a minor plat of Nikki Acres Minor. There are waivers. Do I have a motion to accept the waivers?
Do we only,
What's that? I'm
We only
sorry.
did,
we only did the waivers on the Kretschmer.
Oh, we only did the waivers? So, okay. Sorry. Going back to the Kretschmer, do we have a motion to approve the minor plat?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, now that we have a motion and a second, Sam?
Mr. Davis,
aye.
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Sharon,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. Now, we'll try this again after I messed it up once. We'll move on to the Nikki Acres Minor. Do we have a motion for the waivers?
Motion to accept waivers?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Sam?
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. Sharon,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the May 6, 2021 Plat Committee meeting. Do we have a motion to accept the minutes?
We have to approve
Motion
the
to,
last subdivision too.
oh, okay. This whole new roll
It's
call
the roll
thing's getting
call,
me.
right?
Okay, so, sorry, let's go back and approve the Nikki Acres Minor. Do we have a motion to approve the subdivision?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, with a motion and a second, Sam?
Mr. Sharon,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. Now, we have need to approve the minutes from May 6, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve minutes from May 6th.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Sam?
Mr. Sharon,
Aye.
Mr. Davis,
Aye.
Mr. James,
Aye.
Mr. Metters.
Aye. Now, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Somebody please give me a second.
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 All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.